It's 7:30 in the morning. You're trying to leave for work. Your 8-month-old is playing happily on the floor with their toys. And you absolutely know that the second they see you heading for the door, they're going to lose it. So you wait. You wait until they're distracted. You wait until they're looking the other way. And then you make your move. You grab your bag, you slip toward the door, and you run. You can hear the crying start before you even get to your car. But you're already gone. Mission accomplished. Except here's what's happening. Every single time you sneak out, every time you disappear without saying goodbye, you're teaching your baby that you can vanish at any moment, that the world is unpredictable, that they need to keep constant watch because mom or dad might just disappear when they're not looking. You think you're avoiding the meltdown, but you're actually making the separation anxiety worse, way worse. Nobody's explaining why your baby screams when you try to leave the room. Nobody's telling you why drop-offs keep getting harder instead of easier, and nobody's explaining what actually works. I'm going to show you exactly what's happening in your baby's brain when you leave. I'm going to explain why sneaking out backfires every time, and I'm going to give you a completely different approach that works with your baby's development instead of against it. Before we get into the neuroscience behind this, if your baby screams every time you try to leave and you're exhausted from the constant clinging, hit the like button and subscribe. Drop "This is my baby" in the comments. Let's talk about what's really going on. I see you. I see the parent who can't even go to the bathroom without a baby melting down. I see the working parent who dreads drop-off because you know it's going to end in tears. You've tried everything. Long goodbyes where you reassure them over and over. Quick goodbyes where you rip the band-aid off. Sneaking out when they're distracted, and nothing is working. In fact, it seems like it's getting worse. So you start wondering if maybe you've created this problem. Maybe you've spoiled them. Maybe they're too attached. Maybe you did something wrong. But here's the truth. You haven't done anything wrong. Your baby isn't too attached. And separation anxiety isn't a problem you created. The problem is that the advice you've been following doesn't account for what's actually happening in your baby's developing brain. And once you understand that, everything changes. So here's what's actually happening in your baby's brain when you leave. Around 6 to 8 months, something huge happens. Your baby develops object permanence. That's the understanding that things still exist even when they can't see them. Before this, when you left the room, you literally ceased to exist in your baby's mind. Out of sight, out of mind. But now they know you exist somewhere. They just don't know where. And they have no concept of time, so they don't know when you're coming back. Think of it like this. Imagine the person you love most in the world vanishes without warning. You don't know where they went. You don't know if they're coming back. That's what it feels like to your baby when you leave. Now here's where the sneaking out comes in. When you disappear without saying goodbye, you're confirming their worst fear. You're teaching them that you can disappear at any moment without warning, that they need to be vigilant. So what do? They start monitoring you constantly. They follow you from room to room. They panic when you're out of sight. They cling harder because they've learned they need to keep you in their sight at all times. Research from Harvard's Center on the Developing Child shows that predictability is essential for healthy brain development in infants. When you leave without warning, you're introducing chaos, and chaos triggers their stress response. The American Academy of Pediatrics has been clear about this. Separation anxiety peaks between 8 and 18 months. It's not a behavioral problem, it's a cognitive milestone. It means your baby's brain is developing exactly as it should. But how you handle separations during this window shapes how your baby learns to manage anxiety long term. If separations are unpredictable and chaotic, anxiety increases. If separations are predictable and consistent, anxiety decreases over time. So when you sneak out, you're working against their brain development, and that's why nothing has been working. So let's talk about the specific mistakes making this worse. The first mistake? You're sneaking out when your baby is distracted. You're at home. Your 9-month-old is playing with blocks. You need to go to the bathroom. You see them absorbed in their play, so you tiptoe out. 3 seconds later, screaming, you rush back. Your baby is hysterical, scanning the room frantically for you. What just happened? Their nervous system registered your absence and interpreted it as danger. Their cortisol spiked. Full panic mode. And here's the thing. That panic starts to happen every time they lose sight of you, even for a second. Because you've taught them that losing sight of you means you might disappear without warning. Developmental psychologists have studied this. Babies whose parents consistently say goodbye, even for short separations, show lower cortisol levels. They protest initially, but they settle faster. Babies whose parents sneak out show higher baseline anxiety. They're constantly vigilant. So what do you do instead? You tell them you're leaving. Every single time. Even if it's just to go to the bathroom. You say, "Mommy's going to the bathroom. I'll be right back." And then you leave. And then you come back. And you do it again and again until they learn the pattern. Yes, they're going to cry at first, but that's developmentally appropriate. That's them processing a separation in a healthy way. The second mistake? You're making goodbyes. Too long and too emotional. You're at the daycare door. Your baby is clinging. You're hugging them, reassuring them, telling them you'll be back soon. You're trying to comfort them before you go, and your baby is getting more upset the longer you stay. Here's what's happening. Your baby is incredibly attuned to your emotional state. When you're anxious about leaving, they feel it. When you draw out the goodbye, you're confirming their fear that something scary is about to happen. Think about it from their perspective. If leaving is no big deal, why are you making such a production out of it? Your anxiety tells them there's something to be anxious about. Research from the University of Minnesota found that prolonged, emotionally charged goodbyes actually increase infant distress. The babies whose parents kept goodbyes brief and matter-of-fact showed significantly less distress and recovered more quickly. So here's what to do instead. Create a goodbye ritual that's brief, consistent, and confident. Same words every time, same actions every time. "I'm going to work now. Miss Jennifer is going to take care of you. I'll be back after your nap. I love you. Bye-bye." Hug, kiss, hand them to the caregiver. Leave. 30 seconds. Same way every single time. Your baby might still cry. That's okay. But you're not adding your anxiety to theirs. You're showing them that leaving is normal, safe, and predictable. The third mistake? You're coming back when they cry. You've said goodbye. You turn to leave. Your baby starts crying, and you turn back for one more hug, one more reassurance. You're trying to help. But here's what you're teaching them. You're teaching them that crying brings you back. That if they escalate, you'll return. This is intermittent reinforcement. When a behavior is sometimes rewarded, it becomes incredibly difficult to extinguish. Your baby never knows if this is the real goodbye. So they cry desperately every time. What do you do instead? You say goodbye once, you leave, and you don't come back, even if they're crying. Babies whose parents maintain consistent goodbye routines settle significantly faster. Within 2 weeks, most babies stop crying at drop-off entirely. You're not abandoning them. You're teaching them that goodbyes are predictable and that you always come back. That's security. So let's get practical. Here's exactly what I want you to do starting tomorrow. First, create a goodbye ritual that's the same every single time. Pick your words. Pick your actions. No more than 30 seconds from start to finish. Second, before you leave, acknowledge the separation out loud. Don't sneak, even if they're playing. You walk over, get on their level, and say your goodbye, every time. Third, when you say goodbye, you leave. You don't linger. You don't come back for one more hug. Your baby might cry. Let them. The caregiver will comfort them. Here's what's going to happen. The first few days, your baby is going to protest. That's normal. Don't let their crying convince you to go back to sneaking out. By day 3 or 4, the crying is shorter. They settle faster. They're starting to trust the pattern. By week 2, most babies stop crying at goodbye entirely. They've learned you're going to say goodbye, you're going to leave, and you're going to come back. That predictability creates security. So let's bring this together. Separation anxiety isn't a problem you created. It's a milestone that shows your baby has formed a secure attachment. When you sneak out, you're making it worse by teaching them you're unpredictable. When you draw out goodbyes, you're confirming their fear. When you come back after saying goodbye, you're creating the anxiety you're trying to avoid. I know leaving while your baby is crying feels brutal. I know you're carrying guilt about leaving for work or needing time away, but you're not being cruel. You're being predictable. And predictability is what your baby needs to feel safe. So here's what I want you to do tomorrow. Create your goodbye ritual. Pick your words. Pick your actions. And tomorrow at drop-off, you're going to use those exact words and actions. And then you're going to leave. Even if your baby cries, you're going to trust the process. 2 weeks from now, you're going to drop your baby off and they're going to be fine. They'll wave goodbye. they'll turn to the caregiver, and you're going to walk out without crying yourself. Because your baby's separation anxiety was never about you being a bad parent. It was about you being such a good parent that your baby formed a secure attachment. And now you're teaching them that they can feel sad and survive it, that they can miss you and be okay, that you always come back. If this helped, hit the like button and subscribe for more research-backed parenting advice. Drop "I'm doing this tomorrow" in the comments so other parents know they're not alone. Your baby is going to be okay. You're going to be okay. And tomorrow, you start building the predictability that creates real security. You've got this.